So UFC Fight Night Strickland versus Hernandez just wrapped up, and here's the fucking thing, you guys. Here's the thing. Sean Strickland puts an absolute masterclass on Anthony Hernandez. What an amazing performance by Sean Strickland. I had him winning by round 4 TKO. He got it done by round 3 TKO, but wow. He made this fight look very easy in my opinion. Hernandez did have some good moments in this fight, but Sean Strickland had he made this look very easy. And people are already taking it. Oh, Anthony Hernandez was never good. Anthony Hernandez got fraud checked. His best ones are Delidze and Mikel Pereira. I, yeah, that's maybe right. His best ones are Mikel Pereira and Roman Delidze, but the way he did it was absolutely amazing. Fluffy is still a legit contender. I stand by my word that he beat Khamzat Chimaev. He had the best chance, or not beat him, but had the best chance against Khamzat Chimaev. I think Strickland's just a really nightmare matchup for him. But again, I want to talk about the fight, how I didn't think Strickland would make it look this easy, though. I thought there'd be a bit more adversity. I thought Fluffy would land a few takedowns. Strickland would have to deal with that, get up, and deal with all that. I thought there'd be way more adversity by Fluffy to Strickland. He did land some good shots on Strickland, I'll give him that. But other than that, Sean Strickland looked like I think it was his best performance in my opinion. He was more dominant than his Izzy performance. He looked absolutely sharp tonight. His jab looked amazing. Had some good leg kicks in this fight. And I think and he need Hernandez to the body, which caused Hernandez to break. Land some good combinations, which TKO'd Hernandez in round 3. But yeah, it was an amazing performance by Strickland. I thought he was going to win by TKO, but Hernandez would give him some more problems. You know what I mean in the fight. Hernandez would give him some more problems, but I thought he'd still TKO him after all those problems Hernandez would give him. But there wasn't really anything though. Strickland really shut him down this entire fight and looked amazing. The takedown defense was on point. He looked absolutely amazing. He fought like a former champion in this fight, and Fluffy, I think, will make a good comeback. He's still very good. I think Fluffy is absolutely amazing. I just think Strickland is that good. My highest viewed video I made a while ago saying Strickland is the most underrated fighter, and I think that aged pretty well. People were sleeping on him going to this fight. He was the underdog in this fight. He was the underdog, and I was very surprised by that. Fluffy was the favorite in this fight, and Strickland was the underdog. That was kind of crazy to me. Even though we did see how good Fluffy's performances were in the past, so it kind of makes sense. But still, Strickland really gets slept on. People keep forgetting this guy TKO'd Brandon Allen in round 2. Arguably had the best Brandon Allen performance, best performance against Brandon Allen compared to other opponents. Beat Abus Magomedov by round 2 TKO, dominated Adesanya, beat Paulo Costa, beat Cannonier, arguably beat Dracus in their first fight. I think Dracus won that fight, but still, you can give him that argument. And beat Nasruddin Imavov. He beat all these guys, and people still sleep on him. Strickland is very good, and I want people to start people actually giving him more respect now, because people, when they look at Sean Strickland in his fights, it's not really about his fight. It's just more about what he says in an interview, which I actually want to get into something about an interview later on. But first, let's continue about this. Yeah, it's more of people pay attention to how he is in interviews rather than how he actually fights. They more pay attention to how he talks. Strickland is a really good fighter. He is one of the most dangerous middleweights there is right now. Since he won this fight, he took no damage. He can fight at the White House. They put him on the White House card. I don't know why he wouldn't be on the White House card. I don't think he should be getting a title shot. I don't think Strickland should be getting a title shot next. Because he did lose to Dracus du Plessis twice, and he did take a while off, but he did just beat Anthony Hernandez, a guy who was in an 8-fight win streak, one of the most dangerous up and comers in the division. Beat him very dominantly, and but still, maybe you can give him a title fight against Nasruddin Imavov for the vacant belt if Khamzat's moving up, because you can make that argument that because DDP got 50-42 by Chimaev, he doesn't deserve the instant title shot. But still, in my opinion, Strickland should fight one more contender. Next month is Adesanya versus Pyfer, which can because the similar schedules. If no one in that fight, if the winner of Adesanya versus Pyfer comes out really undamaged, they can make a quick turnaround and fight Strickland in the White House. Big fight at the White House to happen. Strickland versus Adesanya at the White House would be a big fight due to their both their star powers, and they've already had one fight in that rematch. A lot of people have been talking about it for a while now, how they kind of want it to happen. That's a big fight to happen at the White House. And even if Pyfer wins, if he beats Adesanya, Strickland and Pyfer would be another great fight to happen in the White House. American versus American. Amazing fight to happen at the White House. And for Fluffy Hernandez, I honestly think he should fight down in the rankings. He did get dominated in this fight. I still think Fluffy will make a comeback, though. I think he will possibly become middleweight champion in the future because he is very good. I still think he's that good. Strickland is just on another level, and no one really gives him the appreciation he deserves for how he fights. But Anthony Hernandez, I honestly think he should probably fight Robert Whittaker. Fight down. He's fighting down in the rankings, but at least he's fighting in a legend like Whittaker, another former middleweight champion. And I still think he could win. I think he could win that fight, and I think it'd be a good next fight for him. I hear people saying that Reinier de Ridder would beat Anthony Hernandez after that Strickland performance, but I honestly think Hernandez would have mopped the floor with him still, because Hernandez, I mean, de Ridder literally freaking almost died against Brandon Allen due to the gas. He had no energy. He quit. The fight was over because Reinier de Ridder couldn't even continue because he had no gas tank. And people were saying that Reinier de Ridder would have destroyed Anthony Hernandez with the knees to the body. Hey, it's possible, but I think Hernandez, due to him, he would have broken Reinier de Ridder in my opinion. The cardio, it just showed the cardio in that fight against Brandon Allen. He would not last with Hernandez, and I don't think he'd have enough time where he can utilize the attacks to the body enough. I don't think he'd have enough time to utilize the attacks to the body on Hernandez. He'd probably be gassed by the time he actually could do some real damage with it. But yeah, I don't know why I just got into that. But anyways, yeah. Let's do Anthony Hernandez, Robert Whittaker next. Let's fight. Let Hernandez fight down the rankings. And then if he beats Whittaker, let him fight the winner of Bahalio versus de Ridder. And yeah. But overall, this fight was great. Sean Strickland looked amazing. And let's get into this now. Sean Strickland looked like, okay, what the hell? I'm still my mind's still on the fight. How great he looks. Sorry about that. Sean Strickland got his mic muted at the post fight interview. Paramount cut off his mic as soon as when he brought up the comments about Khamzat Chimaev. I'm pretty sure most of you saw the clip of when they cut off his mic due to the stuff he said about Khamzat Chimaev. And I'm not going to obviously show the clip. I don't want to get this video age restricted or anything like that. So I'm not going to show it. But yeah, he said some stuff about Khamzat Chimaev. Wasn't very nice things. And they cut off his mic. And in my opinion, Paramount are a bunch of pussies for that. First of all, before I continue with this, I don't think Sean Strickland, I don't agree with the majority of the stuff Sean Strickland says. I don't agree with, like I just said, I don't agree with a lot of stuff he says, but I don't think the guy should get his mic cut off. Because here's the thing about Sean Strickland. Majority of why people watch his fights, like I mentioned earlier in the video, is due to his interview and how he talks and all that stuff. Those viral clips of what he says, those out-of-pocket stuff he says. That's what brings Sean Strickland majority of his attraction. Not his fighting really. Majority of what he says is what brings him, what brings attraction to his fight. But yeah, Paramount cut his mic off. And I'm like this in my opinion. I'm thinking about this. If you're doing business with a UFC, with UFC, a mixed martial arts company, and there are kids and everyone in the crowd, by the way, and on TV watching people get brutalized, harming each other, and blood spill happening on the TV and also in person. I don't know why you're afraid to keep a guy just saying words as mic on. You cut off his mic because he was saying. He was saying some pretty bad shit. Don't get me wrong. Sean Strickland said some pretty bad shit, but you're cutting off his mic because he said some words. You're really doing that. But you're in business with a mixed martial arts company, a sport that involves beating each other up. If this was basketball, soccer, baseball, football, I could totally understand that happening. But this is mixed martial arts. This involves seeing people bleed. Their job is literally to bleed for a living and punch people in the face and beat their opponent up. Their job is to brutalize other people and win fights. Not a lot of other people, not a lot of fighters brutalize other fighters, but majority of the time that's what happens. Fighters get KO'd bad, fighters get limbs broken, all that stuff. You're afraid of a guy saying words. And I don't think, and a lot of people weren't happy about this either. I saw comments on comment sections regarding the whole Strickland situation. People were talking about how sorry, people were talking about how like it's unbelievable Paramount do this. Paramount are like, like they're such bitches for doing this, and they are, honestly, they really are. You're doing business with a sport that involves breaking people's limbs, knocking people out, it involves blood spill, and you're scared of words. Let me also bring this up. I have friends that watch UFC, okay? But they're like casuals, all right? They don't watch the sport like that. They only watch like pay-per-views, like the big pay like Holloway, Pereira, like all those guys, big stars, okay? They'll never watch a UFC fight night. Don't get me wrong. They will never watch a UFC fight night. But yesterday I'm opening my Snapchat. I see snaps of my friends watching the Strickland Hernandez main event. And that says something right there. That says something right there. Sean Strickland really does bring a bunch of attraction. But like, they don't even watch Sean Strickland that much. When I hear them talk about Sean Strickland, they never talk about, his fighting. They always talk about what he says in interviews, and that gets their attraction in watching the fight. A UFC fight night, by the way. That's how he gains people to watch fights. You cutting off his mic, I think, because first of all, I think Strickland, if that happened, Paramount is definitely going to try to keep him censored as much as possible, and doing that, well, I think will just make fans go away, like some fans go away, because I don't think a lot of people, like I said, care about Strickland like that, about his fighting, where they're like, I guarantee you it's going to go down a bit when it comes to attraction of Strickland fights. They want to see the interviews and in these interviews, due to what he says, gets excitement for the fight. Paramount is doing a shit. Like, I understand where they're coming from, muting his mic and removing and stopping the interview. I understand it, but you gotta also place in the factor you're in a sport that involves beating people up. You need to, like, you shouldn't be cutting, like, because why? A few people are gonna get hurt from what he says. A few people are gonna like get offended by what he says. I understand. Like, I'm not happy with what he says and all that stuff. I'm not gonna cry about it though. If what he says about if he says some shit about Hamza Chimaev, maybe a fight in the future will happen where Hamza Chimaev absolutely destroys him. I understand what he says is not good, but we shouldn't like do this where you cut his mic off in a sport where it involves beating people up. It makes no sense to me. Absolutely. I think Paramount I think Paramount did this the wrong way, honestly. Should have just let him speak. Like, I don't know. I think it's a really dumb thing by Paramount to do. And I think that really, like, it costs like viewers to not watch, because Strickland, a majority of his fan base is people who just like to watch like those viral clips of what he says, the interviews, and it's true, it really is. But yeah, that is the end of my video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and peace out.